Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel.
What the hell was that?
Hey, down here. Yoo-hoo.
Oh, there you are. Who are you?
It's me. Or you. Everyone look at it. Also, I have to add, stop saying welcome back to the channel. What if someone here is new? And more importantly, how do you not recognize us?
I don't know, but now that you mention it, that is our armor. And yeah, you're right about that, not very inclusive of me. Wait, hold on, that's not the point. What are you doing here?
So, I've been thinking, since we're mostly a Halo YouTuber, don't we think it's about time we start doing machinima style intros and such?
I've been wanting to do that for a while. I just had no idea how to make a machinima or even how to lower the weapon so it actually looks like we're talking to the viewer.
Dude, it's so simple. Just go to Reddit. Reddit has all the answers. It also has more than that, but we don't talk about that side of it.
Well, I guess now's a good time to get started. Besides, I had no idea how to make this special stand out from any other video. So, thanks, little me?
Hey, no problem. It's what I'm here for. I got the rest of the intro from here, so get your voice ready to talk about all these damn levels.
Sir, yes, sir. I hand the mantle of audibility to you. See you soon.
Okay, bye now. Jeez, I can't believe this guy. He's been using that same intro for so long. Well, now that I have your attention, let me explain the special that some of you have been waiting to see. For the special, I was going to play through every campaign and every level in MCC, but each level has a twist, challenge, or objective I have to complete before I can move on to the next level. And what makes this special so, well, special is the fact that some of these challenges are viewer submitted. As for the rest of them, I made up a giant list of other challenges, put them on a random selector, and then, well, just took it from there. There were a few levels where I deliberately chose a specific challenge, but that was just to make it more interesting. Without wasting any more of your time, and my own, let's get into it. Take it away, Sky Me.
Thanks, little me. I got it from here. So we're starting off strong with the very first level. The objective for this one comes from Will Perry, and he would like me to kill all the MOAs in this level. That's very sinister, my guy. Right from the beginning, there was only 2 MOAs running away from the houses, so I killed them with my magnum. I made my way through said house, scouted out for any more of those peaceful birds that didn't do anything wrong to deserve this fate. After taking out a few jackals and grunts, I made it to the section with the elite ultras and killed all of the MOAs here as well. There were 4 there, I believe. After that, I hopped into the truck, ran a few more MOAs over, then got out to shoot the rest of them. I found and killed 3 more of them on my way to the objective, and once I got to the mission objective, I extinguished the rest of their ranks and finished the task at hand. Before moving on, who hurt you, Will? And do you need a hug? This challenge is one of my own, and the name should give away what it is. The par time for this level is 10 minutes, so I had to beat the level within that time. The difficulty was set to normal for this one, and after clearing out the courtyard, I managed to destroy both wraiths with 1 missile launch, so that helped save time. And as soon as the Warthog was dropped off, I drove to my first destination. I used the target designator on this building here to take out the elites, but that was for nothing really, because I accidentally killed myself. Second time around, I got to the controls and made it to my second destination. Once I got there, I picked up the rocket launcher, activated the switch, and drove back to Sword Base. I used the target designator on the Covenant in the courtyard and used the rocket launcher on the hunters on the inside. Once I got inside the building, I was cutting it very close, so I had to ignore everything so that way I would have enough time to destroy the Banshees. When I made it to the top, I used the target designator on the Phantom and shot down the said Banshees with my rocket launcher. After Emil said his line, I got the final results and beat this level with 14 seconds to spare. Here's another challenge of mine, and the name should also give away what it is. I kept the difficulty on normal, but to help achieve the 7,500 score, I turned on the Fog, Tough Luck, Famine, and Catch Skulls. Thankfully, I know this level like the back of my hand and could run through it pretty quick to get the time bonus as well. When the level started, I sniped all the elites that were scouting around here and made short work of their reinforcements. By the time I got to the section with the Goudas, I already had 7,000 score, and by killing them, I got the rest of the points I needed, so I'm going to go ahead and skip to the after report. With the final results pulled up, I beat this level with a score of 10,312. At the start of this level, I had to rely on Cat to kill some coveys for me so I would get my hands on my proper weapons. In no time at all, I got a plasma pistol, then killed a jackal to get a needler. With some Covenant weapons acquired, I decided to run past everything. Okay, well I tried to. Second go around, I got my hands on the same weapons and actually killed the rest of the Covenant in the section. Once the rocket hog was dropped off, I kicked the Marine out of the gun and drove alone. When I got to the AA gun, I killed the elite general without any problems and destroyed the gun with the needler combine. After that was over, I drove to the mining facility and ran up deciding to skip some of the Covenant encounters. On my way out of the facility, I picked up a plasma launcher, got in the Revenant, blew up any and all Covenant standing in my way. Once I blew up the second AA gun, the Falcon came in for the pickup and I just had to sit there and hope that I can get through there without dying. You know, since I can't fight back. The first go around was rough, but the second one was successful. It's always the second one. The final section wasn't too bad either. I picked up a jetpack to help with Banshee hijacking and took out any Covenant that was being a thorn in my side. Eventually I got a Banshee down long enough for me to steal it and flew myself up to the spire. When I got up there, I managed to trap the Elite Ultra with my Banshee, so that made killing him much easier. I punched his body off the spire as well, only because I felt like it, and killed the rest of his crew. The name for this one should get the point across of what it is, but just in case I'll explain. Other than the saber section, I'm only allowed to use guns that shoot green bullets. And since it's Halo Reach, the only option I have is the plasma pistol. Great. Don't get me wrong, it's a great gun if used properly, and there's no short supply of them. I just wish I had more options. The beach section wasn't too bad. I just did some sneaking around, killed whoever I could, and let Noble Team do most of my dirty work. One long saber section later, then I'm inside the Corvette. Killing all of the Covenant before letting George in was much easier than I initially expected, but it was done nonetheless. When I got to the bridge of the ship, killing all of the Spec Op elites and the General was more time consuming than difficult. I killed everything else before taking out the General, that way there weren't any distractions or mishaps. And once I got back to George, the final section wasn't too bad either. Well, other than taking a plasma grenade to the face. Second go around went a lot better, and thanks to George, I didn't have to restart the section because I ran out of ammo on the final Ultra. Thanks, George. It was an honor to fight by your side. Now, unless I did something wrong, beating this level without a jetpack is impossible. But I did try either way. Once I got to the jetpack section, I got stuck on all these railings, and no matter what I did, I couldn't find a way up or around. I kept at it for a couple of minutes, but eventually I gave up on this one and went with the challenge I initially had planned for this level. Now, what is that challenge, you might be asking? Well, it's reverse controls. I'll go ahead and show on screen what I typically use when I'm playing, and then when I swapped it too. Yeah, this one was awful. The challenge behind this one was just fighting against my own muscle memory, and I'm 100% certain it will show in the gameplay. What made it worse is that if I wanted to scope in, I still had to click in on the right stick, but I had to aim with the left stick, and it was inverted. The suicide grunt section took a while because I couldn't just go for a quick headshot like I typically do. Instead, I had to bait the grunts out, then block using the armor lock. I actually made it out of that section first try, so that was a good feeling. When I got outside and started fighting the brutes, I just stood still because whenever I got into a battle that was really hectic, I would start getting super confused on what I was doing and what buttons to even press. But unfortunately for me, I did not hear the plasma grenade behind me. Dude, what the hell even is that checkpoint? Okay, it's nothing I haven't already done before. Same as the first time, I took it slow and made it back outside, but decided to keep my distance so that way I wouldn't have to go through that again. After I killed all the brutes and skirmishers, I picked up a spiker because of the boost to melee damage. And melee was my one and only friend through this level. You know, the challenge isn't too bad actually. Bullshit, I want a refund. After a few more minutes and being thrown around by brutes, the next wave came in and I decided to use the turret to help take out the brute chieftain so that way I can get his hammer. And thankfully that idea worked. After I killed the rest of them, I got back to the jetpack section, slowly jumped from platform to platform, then stood back and picked off whatever Covenant I could using the DMR. Once most of the heavy hitters were dealt with, I booked it to the Traxxas Tower. I got through it by the skin of my teeth, picked up a rocket launcher, and continued to run past everything. I hid in this room until it was safe and gravity slammed any Covenant that dared disturb my peace. And once it was safe to leave, I made it to the section with the two shade turrets, and while still in cover, I lined up my throw so that way I could destroy them using plasma grenades. I went back to pick up a fuel rod can so that way I could easily take out the two brute chieftains in that next room. Once it was out of ammo, I went back again for my hammer, killed the hammer chieftain, took his hammer, and blew up the rest of the Covenant. One short but kind of depressing Falcon ride later, I got dropped off at the final section. I hopped in the Warthog and drove straight to the controls to kill the two chieftains that come out of this room. With them taking out, all I have to do is activate the missile batteries, then it's over. The first one wasn't too bad, but of course the second one gave me issues. Second go around I activated it, but the Wraith left... Second go around I activated it, but the Wraith I left alone came back to bite me in the ass. After I respawned, I got lucky and drove to the missile controls. Finally, this challenge is over. Not like it's gonna matter though, because it will return a few more times because the random selector I used did not favor me. While I failed the last challenge you submitted, here's another one that I will not fail. While at first I thought this one was going to be easy, that was my first mistake. The second mistake I made was even slightly memorizing the reverse controls because I felt all messed up after I set them back to normal. And there's a third mistake, but I'll get to that one once it pops up in the footage. This challenge, while simple, took me over an hour and 15 minutes. I swear hijacking a Banshee on the original version of Reach was so much easier. This one is starting off strong because for some reason, banshees weren't spawning in and my game froze. Once I restarted the level, I decided to hop into the Falcon and hop right back out, so hopefully make the game think I'm going to the next building. Afterwards, all I had to do was wait for some banshees to fly by and steal one. I said steal one. Come on, just grab it! So if it wasn't already obvious, this one took a while. Eventually one flew low enough for me to grab on without having to jump off the building I was on. I flew to the hospital, parked my Banshee for later use, and made quick work of all the Covenant inside. When I got to the jammer, I shut it down and then proceeded to make a really big mistake. I didn't trade my sprint for a jetpack. That was my third mistake, and this would come back to bite me in the ass. When I got back outside, my Banshee despawned. So I called for backup, killed said backup, propped up the Falcon so I can hijack a Banshee more easily, and got stuck here for a few more minutes because of the game being stingy with its button prompts. After 15 minutes and many deaths, I finally got my hands on one and flew to the next objective. After helping some Marines with their Banshee problems, I flew to the next building with the drones ambushed and shut down that jammer as well. Thankfully my Banshee didn't despawn this time around, but I had a bigger problem. Buck needed an escort, which normally wouldn't be a problem, but my Banshee was already incredibly damaged and weak at that point, so this is a prolonged section. Once I escorted Buck to his destination, I decided to hijack a new Banshee since my current one was in flames. When I made it to the final building, I shut down the last jammer and made another big mistake of not grabbing a jetpack. Again. By the time I realized they were in there, the doors locked behind me. Oh yeah, and my Banshee despawned again, so I was stuck here. Again. After many more attempts of throwing myself off a building, I got one, destroyed the shade turrets, and finished this level without using a Falcon, for the most part. Alright, this one is very simple. I can only use rifles. To be more specific though, I only allowed rifles that specifically said rifle in the name, like assault rifle, focus rifle, or plasma rifle. I didn't include the DMR just because I didn't want to really. This challenge wasn't really a challenge either. It felt like a typical run of the level, so I won't be speaking much of it. There were plenty of rifles in this level, and the only difficult part was the long firefight section at the end. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next level. I am so glad that they specifically said only explosives and not only grenades. I was beginning to have flashbacks of the grenade run. With that being said, I'm allowed to use anything that explodes and only explodes. Although for old time's sake, I'm gonna try to assassinate the elite.
Just deliver that package.
Whoops. Oh well, I'm not resetting. Everyone knows you can straight up run past everything here. I got my hands on a rocket launcher, then hopped into a mongoose and drove away. I completely bypassed the wraith section, saw the suicide grunts commit, well, suicide, and watched Carter do a nosedive into a scarab. After that display of dedication to his job, I ran past the drones and skirmishers, picked up a grenade launcher, and continued running past everything until I reached the hunters. Who am I kidding? I skipped them too by crouch jumping through a window and barely avoiding death by the hands of the sword elite. And in no time at all, I made it to the final section and there were no shortages of explosives, thanks to the grenade launcher ammo and the fuel rod chieftain. In record time, I took out the Covenant, handed Cortana over to Captain Keyes, and watched a meal become everyone's favorite barbecue snack.
Who's next?
The kebab. Once the cutscene was over, I booked it to the Mac gun, killed the elite field marshal for once, disrespected my boy Emil for no good reason, and destroyed the Covenant cruiser. Let me just put a timer on for this really quick. Okay, now I just gotta move this here and get into the right spot, and presto. Now all I have to do is sit here and do something else while I wait. Once the 30 minutes were up, I jumped out of my place of hiding and took my punishment for being a coward. But we gotta get a move on, so you're up, little me.
And welcome back. While most of the challenges for Reach were my own, the few that were submitted by all of you were fun, harder than expected, and for Winter Contingency, rather sinister. Gotta love animal cruelty, I guess. But that's only one game out of 6, so we need to get to Combat Evolved. And now my armor looks like everyone else's. Lame. All I have to add before we get started here is that some of you definitely wanted to see me suffer for some of these. Why must you hurt me? Either way, you didn't come here to see a Spartan talking to a wall. You came here to see what nonsense you and I came up with. You're up, Sky Me.
Thank you again, little me. While it's a fuck, I already fucked up. While it's quite a lot to read, this challenge was simple but unforgiving. I don't know what triggered it, but I managed to bypass doing the armor diagnostics and go straight to Captain Keyes. What made this challenge especially difficult was the fact that I only had 6 shots per clip and 66 shots with full ammo because of the recession skull. And with the tough luck skull on, it took more than 1 clip for some enemies. Oh, and the eye patch skull reminded me of how bad of a shot I am. While it was unforgiving, the challenge wasn't too bad. I ran past whatever enemies I could, and by the time I reached the end, I was out of ammo. So I hoped that my marine allies would kill the last elite for me and so I could be on my way. I ran around for a bit, and while I waited, I actually triggered the end of the level. And reverse controls have returned. I'll pull up the controls really quick to show you what has changed. This one wasn't too bad this time around, and it was just time consuming because of how slow this mission is. I ran past and ignored the first lifeboat, used a grenade to jump this gap, activated the bridge, and carried on. When I made it to the second lifeboat, I decided to speed up this level by killing all the marines and moving on to the next lifeboat. I slowly cleared out all the Covenant here to get a Warthog and moved on. When I got to the third lifeboat, I decided to use the help of the Marines to kill the Covenant here, but once they were all dead, I decided to move on to the next and final lifeboat. When I did get to the final lifeboat, I let a Marine on the gun to help take care of the Covenant here, and after a few minutes, this level was beat and Foehammer came in for the pickup. Alright, I gotta go fast for this one. I will go ahead and say that 1, I don't like this level, and 2, I'm very unfamiliar with it, so I can't mess up or I will have to restart. The part time for this level is 20 minutes or under, so I really can't screw around. At first I tried running and gunning, but that got me killed, so I slowed down a little bit and prioritized killing the more dangerous enemies. I had a close call near the chasm, but thankfully I was able to outplay the elite. Then I picked up the invisibility and snuck up to the Covenant cruiser. When I got there, I got in a good vantage point, threw some of my grenades, and got some reinforcements. Taking out wave after wave of Covenant was fairly easy and quick, and I didn't have any problems taking out the hunters either. Once they were taken out, I made it inside the cruiser. Inside wasn't too bad, but I did end up getting a little lost, which obviously made me lose some time. I got even more lost once I passed the section with the sword zealot, who I gave the sweet release of death. I got turned around once it came time to find Captain Keyes, and by the time I did find him, I only had 2.5 minutes left. At that point, I couldn't waste any more time or have Captain Keyes die on me, so I followed the trail of bodies I left behind, killing any and all Covenant that were in my way. When I made it back to the control deck, or whatever this room is called, I killed the 2 Spec Ops sword elites and repeatedly meleeed this door in hopes of it speeding up the dialogue. It didn't work. But miraculously, the cutscene played after the dialogue was over. Seriously, I don't get this game. The door is typically supposed to open, then you run to this dropship, but oh well. Alright, in an attempt to make this one remotely possible, I turned on the bandana skull because I know damn well that there was never going to be enough needlers to beat this level on Legendary. And I am nowhere near good enough to even do this challenge without it. At the start, I had to wait for a Marine to kill a grunt with the needler so I can take it. After that, I ran past... Damn it. Okay, well, let's just try it again. After getting my hands on the needler again, I turned around to go to the security override. All the Covenant I had to fight to get to the security override was a real pain. The elites were incredibly persistent, it was nearly impossible to hit the jackals behind their shields, and the grunts just loved their plasma grenades. Dear lord, it was awful. Eventually I got to the spot with the hunters and kept my distance and just let the needles work their heat-seeking magic. I struggled even more afterwards. Before entering the security override station, there were even more Covenant waiting for me, and of course they were a pain as well. When I got into the building, I had to kill the other set of hunters that were hiding from me. Dude, come on, just let me through. My best course of action to kill these hunters was to lead one towards the controls and shoot it from a distance. Once the first one was dead, I repeated that same process for the second one. But it only got worse after the cutscene played. There was an entire squad of elites now in the same room as me, but what made that even worse was the fact that they're all invisible, and the needles can't heat seek anything that it can't see. I obviously was stuck here for a while because I only had 1 health, and whenever I slightly poked my head out from hiding, they would all light me up with their plasma rifles. After many failed attempts, I decided to use grenades just for this section. Whoops. Once I made sure they were all dead, I went back to the needler. Once I got down the hill, I snuck around to the cartographer, but even trying to get in was incredibly difficult because it was heavily guarded. I hid in this cave here in hopes of not being killed, then just let loose with all the needles. It took a while, but I eventually killed the hunters and everything else. Okay, you're a dick. See what I mean by they're persistent? Let's try that again. Just dodge and weave and we'll be... Okay, that's it. I'm going down to heroic. Say what you will, but I'm on a time crunch and I was not having a blast. After lowering the difficulty, everything that I did on the legendary attempt went exactly the same here. Except for this time around, I stuck to the needler and only the needler for the Spec Op elites. When I got back to the mini cave, I had a little bit of an easier time actually getting into the cartographer. Once I got in, I decided to try and skip going through this level like normal and jump down to the lower level, but this took a few tries. After many attempts, I did end up making it and extracted the map info. Now, I would just have to make my way back up there. It really wasn't that hard. I was just being very impatient and wanted to move on to the next level by that point. The most annoying part about the run back up was all the damn jackals. No matter how I went about it, they didn't give me any time to breathe, and I had to wait for one of them to taunt me so I could even get a chance at killing them. I even tried running past everything, but the hunters weren't having that. After all of that, I decided it was time to slow down and kill everything one by one. And it should come as no surprise, but this worked. When I took the slightest bit of damage, I hid. When I had to reload, I hid. And when it came time to killing the hunters, I kept my distance and... Hey, you're getting too close. Back up. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on. Let's run it again. This time around, after killing all the jackals, I waited for a checkpoint before taking on the hunters again. I gave them barrage after barrage of needles, and after a few minutes I killed them and was able to progress on. And lastly, the zealot. You don't scare me anymore. I've grown up and you can't... I feel like I deserve that. Okay, let's end this, you gold bastard. Once he was taken out, I killed the last squad of Spec Op elites and finally beat this level. Even after lowering the difficulty, that was still awful. Okay, finally, a simple challenge. Thankfully, right from the start, I already had a Magnum, so all I would need to do is get a plasma pistol. That was easy. After getting both pistols, I made a dead sprint through the level and only killed whatever enemies I would need to.
Team Zulu, this is Cortana. Hold position. We're on our way.
When I made it down to the ground, I got into this Warthog and drove straight into the indoor bridge. I took out the hunters without any issue, made my way back outside, and stuck around all the Covenant thanks to the invisibilities they just leave lying around. Also, I'm just going to leave this fine example of why I absolutely love Combat Evolved's mechanics. Second time around, I did make it inside and continued to run through the facility as fast as I could. Thankfully, there was plenty of ammo through the building, and that really made this level a breeze. In no time at all, I got outside and stole a Banshee to fly down to the control room. I even took out the Zealot no problem and all the other Covenant, but of course, the elites had something else to say about that. Second time around, I killed the Zealot no problem again, but alas... You know what they say, third time's a charm. I killed the Zealot, grunts, and elites, the whole shebang, so let's move on. This one's simple enough. I already had an assault rifle to begin with, so that made that easier. I made a dash towards my objective, got a needler for my second full auto weapon, and found Jenkins' helmet and footage. One horrifying cutscene later, and now I have my first encounter with the Flood. They're nothing too difficult, and the AR just rips them to shreds. Nothing too special or noteworthy happened in this level because I was dead set on just running back to the elevator. Like always though, I got at least a little bit turned around, but eventually found my way to the elevator. When I got outside, I made it to the tower, stood my ground, and got saved by the floating ball of lies. This challenge is pretty much the same as my only plasma weapon run, but this time around I got the choice of the needler as well. Since I don't start with any Covenant weapons, I had to wait for a carrier form to blow up one of its allies that had my desired weapon. After acquiring a plasma rifle and barely escaping, I could start making my way through the level. The library, like always, is super annoying and just a very prolonged level. The challenge this time around wasn't really that hard, but of course I set myself up to fail because trying to speed past everything. And look, I'm gonna be honest, there'll never be a time where I'm happy to talk about this level, so I'm just gonna mention the good stuff and move on to the next level. I, once again, got bested by this rocket flood that decided to play hide and seek. But I blew it up on my second go around. I made the silly mistake of not being aware of my surroundings and jumped through this gate, only to find out, of course, I could have just gone underneath through the tunnel. And after 25 minutes of running through the flood-infested library, I got the index. This challenge, while easy to understand, is quite strange, honestly. When I first saw this one get submitted, I blew it off as not possible, but later on decided to at least give it a try. So here we are. I can't kill elites. At all. Ever. So before starting this challenge, I turned on the score HUD so that way I can make absolutely sure at the end of the level that I didn't kill any. The first few elites I encountered were inside the control room, and all I had to do was kill the other Covenant in the room and ran past them to open up the gates outside. When I got outside, I just jumped down the mountainside, picked up the rocket launcher just in case, and ran straight to the Banshee. Okay, take two. When I got to the pulse generator, I shut it down, flew down to the ice bridge here, and ran past more elite encounters. The challenge wasn't too bad until I reached the hallway that had the rocket flood in it. The biggest problem I had was trying to get past the two elites in the same hallway. The best course of action was to let the flood and elites take each other out, but of course I still fell victim to the rockets. The second attempt went a lot better because I was able to sneak past the elites and hide before the rocket flood spotted me, so I was actually able to get the drop on it. When I got to the bridge, I made a fatal error in judgment trying to dodge the flood. Second time around, I actually got across the bridge and took the elevator down to the ground level. I hopped in a ghost to make my way to the second pulse generator, but got bullied by a banshee. Thank you, Banshee, for reminding me of my middle school years. Like always, the second time around, I was able to get my own Banshee successfully, blew up all the flood that was in the pulse generator room, and shut down said generator. I took the Banshee back down while being absolutely sure to avoid killing any of my Sangheili brothers. When I got inside the tunnel, I killed all the flood without any issue, got back outside, and got stuck here for a bit because there was a lot of rocket flood and elites, so I had to be very careful not to get killed. I said, not get killed. The best course of action here was to hug the right side of the chasm and sneak up on the Covenant in hopes of being able to steal a ghost. While it did take a few attempts, I did end up getting a ghost and drove to the Banshees. I managed to steal one, flew back up the chasm, shut down the final pulse generator, and checked the after report. I did not expect to get that first try. This challenge was supposed to be done on Legendary, but I didn't have the time nor the patience for that, so yes, I did put on easy just to help myself out. Besides, some random dude here just wanted to see me suffer, submitting all these ideas that he did. This challenge, true, wasn't that bad. I sped through the entire level, and whenever I did somehow lose some health, I immediately reset to the last checkpoint. Like, I literally made it to Captain Keys in under 9 minutes, so yeah, this one wasn't too bad. Of course, I did make the fatal mistake of thinking I could run through all these Covenants, so I had to reset. Second time around, like usual, I got out successfully, hijacked a Banshee, and beat this level slightly over 10 minutes. This one was rough and probably my least favorite of the bunch. I did specifically choose this challenge though because I wanted to do the Warthog run with reverse controls, but we'll get there when we get there. As for the rest of the level, it was a slow burn because I was getting so confused anytime I encountered an enemy. Once I got a shotgun, that made this challenge a little bit easier because at least that way I was a powerhouse. I was able to make it to the bridge of the ship relatively easily, but of course what came after was the worst part, blowing up all the fusion reactors. For once I actually found the armory and was able to get a rocket launcher to make the process a little bit easier, but nonetheless it was still very difficult. No matter how many times I did this challenge, I kept getting my controls mixed up. I couldn't aim to save my life, and all the surrounding enemies were a thorn in my side. It took me so many attempts and around 20 minutes, but I was able to destroy the fusion reactors and start the Warthog run. And speaking of said Warthog run, it wasn't too bad for the most part, but the added jank of CE's terrible vehicle controls on top of the reverse controls made for an interesting drive. My best method of staying on track was I would constantly hold forward on the right stick to help driving while steadily inching to the left stick in case I needed to make a turn. This method ended up working out great because I was able to beat the Warthog run on the first try. Well, that's 2 of 6 games so far, so I'm gonna go ahead and hand the microphone back to Little Me.
I'm so tired. Hey, Sky Me?
What's up, Little Me?
Why did you allow some of these challenges? Yes, you're the one that talked about them, but I was the one that went through it. That was awful. Or don't answer me, that's fine. That's 2 of 6, so I'm gonna go to Halo 2 now. Ah, a breath of fresh air. Only hypothetically though. I can't smell anything through the helmet. Welcome everyone to my personal favorite Halo game. Hey Sky Me, go ahead and show off the many copies of Halo 2 that we have. Yes, I have 3. And no, I'm not explaining why. Is it my favorite mostly because of nostalgia? Maybe, but that's alright. I'm sure you all submitted some pretty chill ideas for this game. It can't be all that bad. Alright, I want to get into the fun already. It's your turn, Sky Me.
So I wasn't entirely sure if Diego meant lasso or not because all he put was all skulls on except acrophobia, and he didn't specifically say a certain difficulty, so I put it on easy with literally all skulls on except acrophobia. Easy difficulty or not, I still had a blast with this one. Okay, I hope this isn't some sort of bad omen. And 343, please fix the anniversary graphics. I'm tired of my game crashing when I want to play with them on. After booting up the game again, I turned on the classic graphics and blew the Covenant all to hell. This challenge was interesting to say the least. I have never played Lasso, not serious at least, let alone literally all the skulls being on. Sure, it might be on easy, but that doesn't stop this challenge from being somewhat difficult. Whenever I was fighting close quarters, I relied on the energy sword, but whenever an enemy was far away, I either tossed a grenade or blast them with the scarab gun. It was all going good until I triggered these two elites to whip out their swords, then I panic blasted the ground with the scarab gun. Second time around, I took it much slower because I didn't get the sword this time around, so I had to be very careful with the scarab gun. I made it back to my place of death, murdered my killers, and proceeded on very cautiously. When I got to the elevator room, I hid from all the buggers and shot them when I was able to, blasted all the Covenant that walked out of this gate, and obliterated the 3 space elites.
Admiral, do what you can against the second. Everyone, forward!
When I got to the bomb room, I tossed some grenades and hid away because I was not trying to die this late into the level. I just stood back and killed whoever I was able to until I felt comfortable stepping out of my safe zone. So I will say right now, before I get started on this one, I did turn on the score HUD element, but for whatever reason, the after report didn't show up in the end, so I don't have any physical proof that I didn't kill anything. But nonetheless, I'll still carry on. I also turned on the bandana, envy, and feather skull to help me sneak around through this level. And if you're wondering why I put bandana on, it's for infinite sword lunging. I took Johnson's sniper, performed the Rex sword skip, got said sword, and tried my best to sword lunge. See, here's the thing. I can hurt the enemies as long as I don't kill them. That's why I allowed the sword lunging. When I got to the dark hallway section, I tried my best to sword lunge an elite so that way I could fly past them all, but time after time I kept accidentally killing one of them. And of course, what worked best was not sword lunging, but just simply using the invisibility. When I got to the beach, I hopped in a ghost and sped straight to the tunnel on my first go. Inside the tunnel is where I started having trouble. My first roadblock was this section here with all the buggers. Trying to sneak past them was quite difficult because their behavior is so sporadic. Eventually I managed to sneak past all the drones in Covenant blocking my path. The use of invisibility helped tremendously. The next section I got stuck on was this portion of the tunnel. Since I didn't destroy the shadows that drove past me, all the elites parked, hopped out, and were more set on killing me than getting to their destination. It was very difficult to get past this part because if it wasn't the elites giving me a hard time, it was the ghosts they dropped off. I decided to go back to using the method of sword lunging past them since it gives me such a big speed boost. And to serve as a reminder, as long as I don't kill any enemies, I'm allowed to hurt them. The one time I actually got a successful sword lunge off, everything else that came afterwards just went horribly wrong. All of this is reminding me why I'm never playing Halo 2 on Legendary again. I had another decent shot at getting around them, but of course the Halo gods decided I am not worthy. Finally, on the successful run, I hijacked a ghost without killing its original driver, then boosted to the end section of the tunnel. The final section was not nearly as bad as the previous one, but it was still a little annoying. The best method here was to use the invisibility while moving in between objects to hide behind. It took a few attempts, but after 5 minutes, I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And as far as I know, I didn't kill anyone. I am so happy to be back at one of my own challenges. That last one was awful. The par score for this level is 9,000, so to help me reach that number, I turned on the fog, catch, eye patch, and that's just wrong skulls. And as long as I beat this level in a fast enough manner, I'll also get the time bonus. When the level started, I grabbed the scorpion so that way I can kill all the ghosts and wraiths on the bridge without issue. And by the time I made it across the bridge, I already had more than enough score, so I just sped through the rest of the level, and when I got to the scarab, I already had 23,000 score, so yeah, this one was a real breeze. When I finished the level, I had a total of 24,246 score, and that's way more than I needed. What I initially thought was going to be hard ended up being the easiest and fastest challenge of the bunch, and since I had a sword, that pretty much replaced my jump because of the lunge. Easy challenge, I'm moving on. This one's very simple, thankfully, but just because it's simple doesn't mean it wasn't boring. Right away, I killed one of my grunt allies and took his plasma pistol, then found a needler in the next room. The challenge also wasn't hard, but was more so annoying, and mainly because the Halo 2 needler sucks, and the Flood really likes to invade your personal space. The elevator ride down was a prolonged process, and this room here was also another prolonged section. Like, seriously, why is this bit here so long? It overstayed its welcome like 5 minutes ago. Once I was able to leave, I booked it to the Heretic leader, said hi to Shipmaster, took the elevator up, cut the cables, and yes, I used the sword for that, and only that, and snuck past a lot of the Heretics and Flood. And when I got back outside, I flew a Banshee to the other side of the station. Harvey, why are you walking like that? The boss fight with the Heretic leader was surprisingly difficult, and I died quite a few times. After 3 minutes of me messing around, me and the Heretic leader had a standoff and I came out on top. And they returned. Here's what my controls were, and what they are now. Since it's Delta Halo, you always start off with a rocket launcher, so that definitely helped with any reverse control shenanigans. I didn't bother fighting in the Covenant in the starting area because it's not necessary to progress forward. When I got to the area with the bridge, I even had a pleasant time there as well. When I got inside to lower the bridge, I gave all the grunts a knuckle sandwich and the elite an ass whooping of a lifetime. Once all the Covenant were taken care of, I got a tank and used that to deal with the Wraith, but then carried on foot. I was also able to hijack a ghost from this elite and drove past everything. I made the fatal mistake of pushing the wrong trigger when trying to get my hands on an energy sword. And it should go without saying, but the second time was successful and I was able to get the sword. From this point on, I had a fairly easy time getting through the rest of the level, and mostly thanks to the sword. The only thing that tripped me up was all the damn honor guards at the end. Since every time I got into a fight I would get really confused about my controls, I would die again, and again,
Watch yourself, honor guard.
and again.
Watch yourself, honor guard.
Hey, how many is that now?
But after being slaughtered a couple times, I came out on top and beat this level. So I actually played this level on stream, so here's some clips. Oh god, I forgot the controls are ass backwards for reasons I will not say. Although I'm pretty sure everyone could probably figure that out. So anyone that joins in, I'm recording bits and pieces of the 1K sub special. And decided just... I can't seem to speak and play games at the same time. What are you doing? I'm just gonna restart this level over. Screw it, why not? Anyways, as I was trying to say is, I'm recording bits and pieces of the 1K sub special, but decided just because I have some time to, I'm gonna record some of them, or stream some of them too today.
Chalk another one up, boys.
Don't
The
bother
chat-
getting up. Oh! You think you could be a little more careful, sir? You treat your mother.
Alright, cool. Huh, I never got to know my mom. I was kidnapped at the age of 6. Great. Good start. Haha. This challenge for this level is going to prove to be difficult. Alright, I'm already in a tight spot. What do I do? Crap. That's a question. Alright. You. Need you to kick the bucket.
Watch yourself, sir.
Cool,
Got
cool.
one.
I know it's probably like, you know, inhumane to be killing my own guys, but I needed ammo, so I took it. I've been playing this game for years. I don't know why it still feels the need to tell me my energy shields are down. Okay, I get it. They're down. The challenge for this specific mission is SMGs only. So, yep, already proven to be a bit of a task, but I'll figure it out. Oh, please disappear this time. Haha, I don't know why the game does that, but I'll take it. I know some people like shun me for saying I don't like lasso, but you know what? That's whatever. Me being stuck in one spot for like 3 hours doesn't sound like a good time. Yep, Spartan Laser it is. Everything else will be done with whatever challenge it is, but yeah. It should be like self-explanatory. How you doing, dude? Wow, that's a drastic change in character model. Sunday at 9 a.m. like they typically are. That guy has a sword. I'm going to run. Okay, my personal favorite is Halo 2. A lot of it is nostalgia, and I'm willing to admit that. But yeah, my personal favorite is Halo 2, but Halo Reach is a very close second. And then Halo 3 is probably my third. After like Halo 2 and Reach, I don't really keep track anymore. It's just whatever. Like, I like it, I just wish there wasn't just a bunch of leading up to nothing. I know there'll probably be a DLC later on, but even still. And cutscene with the grunt still alive, just kind of ignoring Chief. Always like this. That grunt's just chilling. He's my pal. Look at him. Hey, man.
Watch your back.
Oh, that was easy. Probably gonna die though. Yep, I knew it. Hey, guy.
Take him out.
Yep, fly away, please. I'm not trying to get caught by these guys.
Follow this place. Watch your back.
Get up. Run. Running, running. That's not a door.
Bad news. The Phantoms are turning around. The fleet is preparing to fire on our position.
That's
We
great.
need to get out of here.
Huh. I didn't realize they kind of just go, like, dead after that. They do nothing but just ignore me. The Halo gods were really against me for this one because before the cutscene even started, they pulled a fast one on me. Bro, I just started! And then I messed up by not putting the timer on. Yeah, I need to remember to put the timer on if I'm going to do part-time achiever. The part-time for this specific level is 15 minutes, so I would need to be quick with it. And the part-time achiever challenge is always a mixed bag because I never know if I'm going to have a smooth run or if something's going to go horribly wrong. By the time I beat this level, I had 2 minutes and 4 seconds to spare, so I'm going to carry on to the next one. Thanks to my elite brothers, I was able to get my hands on a sentinel beam right away, and from that point on, the rest of the level is a walk in the park. I hardly had to kill any enemies thanks to RB's invisibility, but of course, at least one thing had to go wrong in this level. Are you fucking kidding me? What are the odds? Other than that freak accident, I still came out of this level unscathed. I even reached the elevator in under 7 minutes, so if you'll excuse me. So other than having a destroyed enforcer land on my head, this level is really easy. So strangely enough, the score for this level isn't that high, coming in at a measly 11,000. And to help with this one, I turned on the catch, eye patch, fog, and jacked skulls. The only reason why I turned on jacked is because there's no vehicles in this level to be driven, so that's just some bonus score for free. The level was played like normal of course, but I was playing extra aggressively just to get more score. What didn't help though was the introduction of the brutes and how aggressive they are in return. About halfway through the level, I got the 11,000 score minimum, but I wasn't making good time, so if I wanted to stay above that, I would need to hurry along before it starts decreasing because of the time bonus. Keep in mind, the par time for this level is 20 minutes, and when I reached the 20-minute mark, I wasn't even at the mausoleum of the Arbiter yet. I was doing just fine along this bridge here, but as soon as I tried to enter the mausoleum, I got killed by a hunter and lost some valuable time and score. Once I did get inside, my first targets were the Elite Ultras because if left unchecked, they would potentially be a big issue. So I tried to get behind them and kill them. On the successful run through the mausoleum, I got a fuel rod cannon and killed the hunters no issue. With the doors now unlocked, I killed the invisible elites and blew up this final one. With the level now beat, let's check the after report. Holy shit, I actually did it. And actually got an achievement for it, no less. I am not even surprised that reverse controls have already made their return. Now before we get started, here's the before and the after controls for anyone who might be wondering. When I started, I tried to sneak past all the brutes, but I got spotted and made a minor mistake. The second go around was successful though. I just booked it straight to the gate and let my elite brothers take out the brutes. A lot of this level consisted of me running past everything and only fighting when absolutely necessary, although part of me wishes I would have gotten revenge for this. Once I got down to the Wraith section, I just activated my invisibility and snuck past even more brutes. I then did this method again after exiting the little armory the brutes put together. This by far was the easiest reverse controls mission I've done at this point, so this one might be a bit confusing, but pretty much the challenge is I'm only allowed to use each weapon once. So once I get a kill with a certain weapon, grenade, or melee, they cannot be used again. Starting out, I ran past as many enemies as possible to preserve my weapons. I didn't use my first weapon until I reached this door here. I was all too familiar with the flood running out of this door, so I threw a plasma grenade to hopefully kill some of them. But now that I used my one plasma grenade, I can no longer use them. I tried running past all the Covenant and Flood here in hopes of this door opening on its own, but alas. Second time around, I decided to use my one frag grenade and take out at least some of the Covenant. Once the Flood showed up though, they were too busy to pay me any attention. After the door opened, I walked through it, grabbed the energy sword, went up the grav lift, and beat this level with only having used one of each grenade. Well, this task is simple enough. After making my way through the level as normal, I got to Tartarus. And for the sake of making this more painful for me, but more fun for you all, I decided not to rely on the sword for this unless I absolutely needed to. So here's a collage of all my attempts and deaths.
How do I stop
How's that feel? After that brute is dead.
Yeah, so after a while I gave up on not using a sword. Of course, once I did use a sword, Tartarus crippled over faster than Stephen Hawking's out of his wheelchair. Oh my god, I can't believe I just wrote that. But with Tartar Sauce down for the count, this level is beat and it's time to hand the microphone back to little me.
I was wrong. I was hopeful, but wrong. It's Halo 2. What else was I expecting? After that experience, I'm gonna take a nap. I'll be back in a few hours. What the hell? Where am I? I thought I was in Halo 2. Why is my helmet UI different? And why am I in a drop pod? Oh, I'm in ODST now. Well, you know the deal by now, Sky Me. Go ahead and take it away.
And the microphone is back to me. Before we get started on the most chill of Halo games, I did not include the Mombasa Street levels as separate levels because of how short they are. And I also played the first level of ODST on stream, so I'll let the clips play for this one. I just wish there was like a actually stealth Halo game. Like how Nightfall and Halo Reach, you try to be stealthy, but one shot off with the sniper and you're pretty much just found out. ODST, the street levels, you can sneak past everything, but I want to be able to use silenced weapons and be like, pew, and bam, no one saw me. Yeah, I have a whole... Oh my god, Tristan. V is 5 in Roman numerals. I know this. I'm thinking of... I am all sorts confused right now. I got a comment on that video actually a couple weeks ago. It was held for review because the guy was using all sorts of curse words. And the idea, I literally said in the beginning of the video, right, that I wasn't being too strict on the rules because it was supposed to be for like fun. And this guy said only curse grenade or only D20 grenades, but uses the entire plethora of just weapons. The fuck is this? I'm like, okay, calm down. It's just a video. People take things too seriously. But no, I do have more ideas planned out for that one. It's 2.0 version of that video for the Cursed Halo again, since Inferno Plus made an update to that, which made the video I made actually more popular. Thanks, Inferno. Shout out to that guy. You know what? Make this more fun. Wow, you didn't die. Rooting this guy on. Break. Full auto. This is full auto. I'll take it. I know I could just run past everything, which is probably what I'm going to do, but I'm taking this anyways.
Trooper, we're pinned down. Cut through this building. Hit him from behind.
Sorry, Marine, you're on your own. I'm doing a challenge. I know that probably sounds absolutely absurd. Yeah, absurd. I'm mixing my words together. I know that probably sounds absurd for fighting a war, but whatever. It'll make sense later, I promise. Ow. Oh, I'm gonna die here. Ha! Yep, I knew it. Just gonna chill here.
Too late. They spotted me.
Very bright.
Veronica, talk to me.
Okay,
Don't
cool.
move. I'm coming. You hear?
Excuse me, excuse me. Excuse me, guys, coming through. Ow. Is that all of them? Cool. This one was slow but easy. Also, I'm gonna ask, what was the point behind adding the famine skull? I know what it does, it just seems strange to add it for your specific challenge. While it was taking me much longer than I expected, I still made quick work of this level, although I don't think the Wraith liked that very much. Once I got past the Wraiths and onto the bridge, I got a front row seat of the space elevator collapsing. And I'm just gonna say, why is it whenever I get onto one of these easier challenges, I always find a way to mess it up? When I got to the final section, I was pretty much forced to kill a little bit of the Covenant here because no matter how hard I tried, they would not let me pass. On the successful run of the final section, I utilized the plasma turret and Spartan laser to take out the Wraith, then I was home free. 18,000 is the minimum score requirement for this level, and to help me achieve it, I turned on the catch, eye patch, and tough luck skulls. As soon as the level started, I hopped in the Scorpion to help deal out heavy damage, but the Covenant wasn't having that. I'll let you take a guess on which attempt was successful. That's right, the second one, like always. Before even leaving the starting area, I already acquired 11,000 points, so the rest of this run was going to be a breeze. The big heavy hitters for points were definitely the Phantoms at like 1,000 a pop. Just times that by the time multiplier, and that's a lot of points. By the time I caught up with Dutch, I already had 48,000 points in the bag. The final firefight section took a couple more minutes than expected, so I was beginning to lose some of the multiplier. When I did finish the level, I had about like 30,000, and I would pull up the after report, but apparently I stopped recording before it came up. This one I was worried about because since it's ODST, the melee isn't as good as other games. I was able to clear out all the Covenant except the Hunters because I didn't want to chance them killing me. So instead I gave Mickey my Spartan laser in hopes of him killing the Hunters, but no matter how hard I pushed, he just wouldn't do it. So I took matters in my own hands, grabbed a brute shot, and meleeed the Hunters with the blade of the gun. After I killed the Hunters, some more Covenant were dropped off, and I had to take a few of them out before being led into the building. After a couple of minutes, we were able to go inside. Thanks to my allies, I didn't have to worry about the suicide grunts because they took care of them for me. And once it was safe to come out of hiding, I went on a Covenant killing spree.
Hi there, stupid. Don't bother getting up.
Once I was finished with my massacre, we were able to head up the elevator. I hid from the drones and went on one more killing spree.
Do it again.
In the beginning, there wasn't an easy way for me to get any Covenant weapons, and especially because Buck refused to focus on one enemy at a time. With Buck being of no help, I decided to run past everything, but of course, that didn't go over well. Second go around, I decided to stay with Buck and just stick it out. After a couple of minutes, I saw this plasma grenade explosion and went to check it out, and to my benefit, the grunt killed itself. So with a plasma pistol in hand, the rest of the level could be carried out. What the hell? Where did that come from? Because of that freak accident and being very annoyed, I decided to go back to the method of running away, which, to my surprise, worked this time around. Thankfully in the next room there were Covenant weapons lying around, so I was able to defend myself now. But by this point in the level I already reached this part where you have to use the crane as a bridge and have to fend off against wave after wave of banshees. Since there was nothing I could do here, I just waited for my allies to kill all of them for me and finish the level. After 6 minutes, the phantom that drops off the brute chieftain came by and ruined Romeo's day. I also love that instead of just killing Romeo, this brute felt the need to be petty. Just for fun, I'm going to call this one the noob combo challenge, because that's pretty much what it is. Clearing out the Covenant in the beginning area was a breeze, and I was able to get a Banshee in no time. The entirety of this level was another breeze, really. The only part that was somewhat difficult was the area with all the brutes and the chieftain. The only thing that made it hard was just the lack of ammo and having to rely on the plasma pistol only. After about 4 minutes, all that was left was me and the chieftain, and I ran circles around the dude until he decided to drop dead. Once I got out of the tunnel, I destroyed the scarab. Ran to the end of the level, and blew up all these Covenant batteries. Hey, I've done this one before. When I started this level, there was a dead grunt lying on the ground, and I was able to get a plasma pistol right away, so that saved me that trouble. I carried on through the level like normal until I found the scumbag cop, ditched said cop, killed a bunch of brutes, killed a bunch of drones, found Dare, and how dare she point that gun on my head. Not funny. Okay, I'm sorry. When we made it through the hive, we got into the data center, killed the brutes trying to shoot down the door, and found our little alien buddy. After we got to safety, I killed the last of the drones and we were on the final level. This last challenge, while easy and simple to understand, gave me trouble because I was playing like an idiot. Instead of playing smart or strategically, I was just throwing myself at the enemy, just trying to take whatever onslaught they gave me. And for those of you who don't know, the part time for this level is 25 minutes and it's a lengthy level, so I could not mess around. When I got to the highway section, I was already at the 3-minute mark, which might sound good, but of course I found some ways to screw that up. Cue examples.
Heads up! Entry!
Or how about this?
Buck, Scarab.
I see it! Must have dropped out from one of those cruisers. Just keep driving. It hasn't spotted us.
And then the game insisted I take the Scorpion instead of the Warthog, so I wasted some time there as well. When I got to the nature reserve, I was at the 17-minute and 30-second mark, which also sounds good on paper, but again, I messed that up as well. By the time the last phantom flew by, I only had 2 minutes left, so I was going to need to be quick. And by the time I killed the last brute, I only had 27 seconds to spare, and of course the other ODSTs took their sweet time getting to my location. Once the after report came up, it was official. I would need to redo this one. Take 2, everyone. I will spare everyone the entire level and get to the good bits. As soon as I got into the highway, a grunt was dead set on ruining my time.
The engineer's doing something to the control circuit. Hey! What's that?
I got my Warthog stuck. What? Got my Warthog stuck, so I had to grab a new one, and Buck refused to get out of the old one, so I had to bait him out, which wasted a minute. By the time I got back to the nature reserve, I was at the 16-minute, 40-second mark, so I was a little bit better off. Every time a wave of Covenant was dropped off, I used all the heavy weaponry at my disposal to kill the brutes, jackals, and the hunters. When the second wave of brutes were dropped off, I used the rocket launcher to help kill the chieftain, then killed the rest of his brutes with the Mauler and melee. And of course, the second go around this level was the successful one. Time coming in at 22 minutes and 15 seconds, which was far better than before.
What a weird dream. Wait, I fell asleep in Halo 2. How did I end up here? Sky Me, is this your doing?
Whatever do you mean, little me?
I don't know, maybe the fact I just had a really strange dream where I was in ODST for a couple of hours. I went to sleep in Halo 2, but now I'm in 3. And lastly, it feels like I'm a puppet under someone else's control. Care to explain?
Did you already forget that I'm pretty much in control all of the time? The only reason you're even here is because I will it.
Oh. Well, that would make sense why I'm holding myself hostage with some fusion coils and a rocket launcher. Wait, what'd I just say?
Suicide.
He might not realize it, but I heard everything he said about how I did my intros. So that explosive demise is what he deserves. I'll bring him back later. Right now I have some levels to talk about. I played through this first level on stream, so I'm just going to add the clips here. I'll do the first level of Halo 3. And this one's another one of my own challenges, but that's fine. This challenge for this specific level, I like to call reverse controls. Just gotta make sure I do everything correctly. Okay, make sure I got that right. Once I can move.
Move out. Quiet as you can.
Yeah, I have reverse controls. Oh, yep. There we go. Yep, that's awful. So, okay, I'll go to the settings screen so y'all can see it for a second. But pretty much, that's what my controls are currently. It's like that for every game because my controls are set for every game just the same way. But, yeah, the first time I did this, it was on a Halo Reach level. It was awful. I had to fight against everything I knew. So the look inversions, backwards, all my ABXY is now my D-pad. Right trigger is now left trigger is right trigger. Same for the bumpers.
Come on.
Oh god. Oh, thank god this level's not too bad. I can call this one the Game Journalist Challenge. It's getting a little better, trying to memorize what button does what, but it still throws me off. Like, I'll be fine, but once it comes to the camera and actually having to use my face buttons, I'm all sorts of backwards. Alright, that works. Oh my god. Alright, I'm running for it. Yeah. No, wrong button. Cool. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you for the safe transport. Yeah, if I am correct, depending on how long some missions take, this video will be at least 40 minutes. At least 40 minutes. No longer than, I'd say, an hour 15. Seriously, just depends. But at least 40 minutes. And while I'm looking forward to it, I'm also not at the same time because I tend to, fuck up a lot when it comes to reading off my scripts. But I'm also going to make it a point to take a little bit longer on the viewer submitted challenges because if people actually took the time to submit an idea, they deserve the extra bit of time for me to talk about what they submitted. Oh, yeah, I tried to save him. I failed. Oh wait, he's alive? Damn. Post commentary is kind of boring. Some people will agree, some people will disagree, but you know what? Everyone has a different opinion, and you know what? That's a-okay. If it's not your thing, you know what? That's alright. I kind of just have my own little, way of doing things, and I'll mix it up every once in a while, but I'm just kind of sticking to it, because I know it's kind of what's doing well.
Negative. We're going down.
Oh, that's not my bumper. Oh, God. Ah! No. Cover. Oh, I'm getting confused. Yep, the challenge is also just any fight I get in, I panic and start fucking up. Eh. No. Please, just leave me be. Yep, I knew that was gonna happen as soon as I walked that way. Eh. Cool. Eh. I can never hear that moment again. Banshee's fast and low. Just because my big sister, if you're watching this, highly doubt it. Kaya, when you would play through that part in the campaign, you were so fucking annoying. She would repeat that line in the most high pitch and annoying voice. Oh my god. Oh god, fuck. Oh no, I'm fucking up. Oh god, I'm confused. No, please stop. Show mercy. POV, my nephew's gameplay. Yeah, pretty much. Although my nephew could probably play better than this. Oh, there's so many ideas I want to elaborate on, but of course they take time to actually, you know, finish and develop. And I dislike it so much, but editing down my voice for videos is just the most grueling thing. I'm still trying to figure out my mic settings. I go back and listen to some of my old videos and just the white noise in the background is awful. Audio mixing, I need to work on it. I think I'm getting better at it. Can't say for sure, but it feels like I am.
See how they bait their trap? I will help you spring it.
For the longest time, I had no idea what Arbiter said there. I always thought he said, see how they bake their track? I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But thank God for subtitles, it made the point clear. Bait their trap. Hello. Don't mind me, just playing like a game journalist. I know, like, any person that, you know, does YouTube, like, they want to get to like 1 million or something, but I kind of like being of a smaller scale because it helps maintain like actually keeping up with the community, because I like actually engaging with all of you. Once that Halo Reach only needle weapons video blew up, it all kind of just fell into place a little bit for me, and I was really excited. It was a little overwhelming at first, but it was cool. Yeah, it's annoying. I actually made a joke about the full auto zealot in the current video I am working on. That will be out this Sunday. Shameless plug. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Show kindness. Kindness. Love, not war. Love, not war. Chief is a hippie. Please, love, not war. You know what? Let me in. Let me in. Cool. Oh, needler. Needler, yes. Give me that. What the? Oh, yeah, right. You're still alive. I typically kill you right away. Huh. Whoops. Okay. Did that brute just call me a heartless animal? That seems kind of backwards. First order of business. Get a plasma weapon. Second order of business. Grenades and protection. Third order of business. Get away from that fucker. Oh, God. Confusion. Confusion. Oh, I'm getting confused. Please, no. Oh, this works. Cool. Oh, I'm panicking again. Grenades don't stick to you, do they? Nope, of course they don't. Yes, he's down. I got to this spot 10 minutes in, but now I spent 13 minutes here. Love it. Doing great. Sheepus, my man. You're also very sinister. But nonetheless, let's kill these Marines that did nothing wrong to deserve this fate. The method I had for killing all of the Marines was to just chill up here with Miranda and use a battle rifle for precision. The method was successful, but of course I was impatient and got myself killed in return. And of course, the second go-around was the successful one. All I had to do after the Marines got hostile was just sit behind cover and wait for their dots on the motion tracker to go back to yellow. Once they were back to being passive, I let the team killing commence. Once they were dead, I carried on to the level like normal, so I'm gonna move on to the next one. This next objective was quite easy actually. Everyone that was on my hit list was easy to run over except a drone, but I did end up getting that one too. And here is my checklist. With one of each species ran over, I made my way to the next level. Fire bombs, fire bombs, fire bombs. So this one is simple. I'm only allowed to use fire to kill anything. For this specific challenge, I turned on the bandana skull so that way it would actually have a way to burn them all. And this one is more of a teaser than a challenge because I have another idea for Halo 3 that somewhat resembles what I'm doing here. Anyway, back to the level. This one wasn't too bad, and it was actually quite fun just tossing endless firebombs at the Covenant. But, of course, something has to go wrong in at least every other level. On this episode of What Went Wrong Now, It's the internet. I forgot to pay it 2 days prior to recording, and the Xbox I used to record content with isn't my home Xbox, so it booted me out of the game and told me to get a job, even though I have one. One late but paid off internet bill later, I'm back in the level, and actually remembered where I was at, so that was a plus. There's not a whole lot to mention for this level because all it came down to really was just hurling firebomb after firebomb. The Scarab section though was a doozy. Like seriously, I don't know what it is, but me and Halo 3 Scarabs don't get along. After I destroyed the Scarab, I went inside the building and gave all the brutes 3rd-degree burns, and these hunters, while incredibly durable, went out in a blaze of glory. Everything that came after the hunters were trivial in comparison. Like the brute chieftain, folded him like an omelet. And as for the AA gun, it took quite a few firebombs, but it did go down. Ah, Floodgate. Always good for a quick speed run, even while challenge running. The run through this time around was pretty easy and simple, so to make sure I at least tried the challenge, I made it a point not to run past all the encounters and at least fought a couple of times. What also helped with this challenge was the brute shot and spiker because they have blades on them. Also, I apologize because even though I was on Do Not Disturb, my Xbox still felt the need to notify me that Mortal Kombat 11 was being installed. It was just notification after notification after notification. My bad. But MK interruptions aside, this challenge was very easy but fun because of not relying on the power weapons. I have to say, rather interesting objective. Something tells me I'm gonna have fun with this one. Mortal Kombat, can you please leave me alone? This level was played through like normal until after I destroyed the Scarab, so I won't be mentioning anything before then. Well, except this. Halo 3 Scarab, seriously, what's your problem with me? But once that fight was over, I hopped in the chopper that was just lying around and wiggled my way through the halls. Anytime I encountered a fight, I would hop out and kill any Covenant manually, that way my chopper wouldn't be destroyed. Once I got to the cartographer, I parked my chopper nearby in hopes of it not despawning, and thankfully it didn't. After a couple of slow minutes wiggling through the hallways, I met up with the chieftain and his pack.
Hang tight, Chief. We're on our way.
That felt so good. It's nice having comedic relief after all these previous levels. With the chieftain now being nothing more than a puddle on the ground, it was time to proceed on. But before that, the chopper even made an appearance in the cutscene. 3 games later, and the green bullets have made their return. And thankfully this time around I have more options. Right from the start, I was able to get a plasma pistol from a grunt that my ODST ally killed. And while it wasn't difficult killing everything here, it was tedious mostly thanks to the chieftain who also happened to be carrying my desired weapon. With the cannon now in hand, I destroyed the anti-air wraith and drove to the first tower. I drove and ran past most of the Covenant at the first tower and acquired my other green bullet weapon, the carbine. Oh, how I miss you. But like usual, I ran past the Covenant.
Get inside that tower. Take it.
Dude, what the hell is that checkpoint? That's so far back. Anyway, I retraced my steps, got the carbine again, and went up the elevator. I killed all the brutes in the chieftain without any issue, then shut down the first tower. I made my way out of the tower and back to the beachfront to get to the third tower. When I did get in the Hornet, I did use the guns, but only on other vehicles. As soon as I got to the third tower, I hopped out of it immediately and got back to the challenge at hand. In no time at all, I ran through the lower floor of the tower and got up the elevator. The brutes on top of the tower also weren't any issue. I just hid behind the glass here and took them all out from a distance. With the third tower now down for the count, the flood makes their appearance. I, like always, ran past all the enemy encounters until I got back outside and hopped in the Gosshog. Wait, what the hell? Did anyone else see that? Paranormal events aside, I drove through the snowy cliffs, picked up a new fuel rod cannon, and piloted a Hornet with 2 heavily armored Marines. I circled around the first Scarab so that way my Marines could take out the legs, but alas, the Scarabs continued to show their hatred for me. Second go around, I took matters in my own hands and destroyed them myself one by one. After that battle, it was time to head inside the Citadel and finish my fight with the Covenant. And the fight inside was a breeze thanks to my fuel rod cannon. When I got to the bridge, I stopped the rings from firing, forgot to teabag Truth through the floor, and beat this level with only weapons that have green bullets. Another interesting idea. I like it. Although I will admit that I misunderstood the original idea, and by the time I realized I messed up, I was already writing the script, and unfortunately I'm running very low on editing time as of writing this. What I did was I wasn't allowed to pick up a new weapon unless I killed a tank flood with melee, and after killing a tank flood I would get this hypothetical token I can use in exchange for a new weapon. For fun's sake, I'm going to call them tank tokens. But since I started out with the shotgun, I didn't really have any need for any other weapon. Nonetheless though, I did melee this tank and acquired 1 tank token. I ran through several rooms until I got to this spot here and used my 1 token to pick up an energy sword, which did come in handy. I carried on through some more flesh rooms but got bullied by this flood, so that was fun. The second go around for once wasn't the successful run, mainly because I sabotaged myself into dying. Third time around, I was able to sneak up past the flood because I found invisibility in the previous room. I also ran through this room with no issue, and again mainly because of the other invisibility I found. When I got into the reactor room, a tank form absolutely bodied me for no good reason. After I recovered from my injuries, I decided to get another tank token and get some revenge. Damn, I didn't mean to hit it that hard. But with that tank meleeed, I have 1 token. After I saved Cortana from her torment, I used that token to trade my shotgun for a brute shot to easily blow up the reactor cores. With the reactor cores now destroyed, I ran back through the level and met up with Arby. The objective on this one seemed way too simple to me, so I hope Sheepus doesn't mind I added my own twist on it. But before I get to the point of the challenge, I need to do my mandatory Johnson getting shot by Spark while I talk over a joke. Alright, now that I'm at the mongoose, I need to change my controls. So here's the before and the after. To my surprise, I went through it successfully on my first try. But of course, that still didn't stop me from getting flipped over and having to get back on my mongoose quite a lot. Oh yeah, and the MK11 notifications have returned, which was annoying. With Halo 3 now in the bag, I'm gonna hand the microphone back over to Little Me. I think he has something he wants to say.
I would just like to say that I'm sorry. I know deep down you only kept using that same intro because it's what you were comfortable with, and because you thought doing the cliche YouTuber intro thing was still cool. Can we finish this final game together on a good note?
Yeah, we can. But no more being mean to me. Or you. Us. Whatever, you get the point.
Aye aye, Captain. We made it this far, so let's finish strong. You got it, Sky Me.
To those of you who were there when I was streaming the original version of this challenge, you'll probably remember how difficult it was for me to assassinate every enemy. So to make it a little bit easier, I set the minimum to 25. With that explanation out of the way, I'm going to do a speed round of every assassination.
vehicle bay.
After 20 minutes and many broken necks, I beat this level with 27 assassinations. Simple challenge coming up, so let's get a move on. The only time I really struggled with this one was the final section with the hunters. Like seriously, they hit hard. Second go around, I killed the first hunter easily thanks to the needler, but as for the second one, it was being incredibly stubborn with exposing its back. But after a few minutes, I was able to kill it with the storm rifle. If it seems like I'm speeding through talking about these levels, it's because I am. There wasn't anything too interesting about them for me to continue to talk about them. But hey, there'll be a few long ones, so don't worry. And as for the challenge on this level, I specifically chose this one because I thought it'd be fun. First order of business, a jump scare.
Look out!
Well, he's just a ray of sunshine, isn't he?
Because the game won't let me move forward until I kill everything here, I was stuck. As for how I was going to get my Promethean weapon, it was a little tricky. There weren't any loose guns lying around, so I had to utilize my hard light shield to deflect the crawler's bullets onto themselves. After a couple minutes of running back and forth between my hiding spot, I was able to get a crawler to kill one of its own kind, and got my hands on the suppressor. And immediately after, I got a bolt shot. Alright, I think it's time for a speed round. So I killed all the Prometheans in this area, destroyed the power cores, shut down the first relay, took a portal to the next section, destroyed the other power cores, shut down the second relay, accidentally released the Didact, whoops, and lastly had a ghost run. Alright, now the real fun begins. And this is what I meant by fun. Of all the levels that could have been reverse controls, of course it had to be the one that's the least fun and takes the longest. Here's a quick show of the before controls and the after controls. Now let's get into this mess. Anytime I had to fight any Prometheans was an awful time just because they're so unpredictable and fast. Most of the time I found myself keeping my distance and killing as many as I could from far away. Whenever it came to killing the knights though, if I had the option I would use the charged bolt shot blast since most of the time it kills them in one hit. The beginning forest section alone took me 17 minutes before I finally met up with Lasky. The middle portion of the level was a royal pain in the ass because of course there was an ungodly amount of Prometheans everywhere and I only had so many ranged options. And while it was difficult in some sections, I found myself getting more comfortable with the whack-ass controls. Although that still didn't stop me from getting absolutely clapped by a knight. The tank section with the Spartan 4s was by far the easiest part of the level, so nothing to mention here really. Now everyone, may I welcome you to the Mantis. This bad boy was the main reason I wasn't stuck in the last section of this level for over an hour. Once I did get to the final section, I destroyed the Covenant jammers and just stood in this one corner and killed every enemy until I got the go-ahead to finish the level. Oh, but of course, something must go wrong, right? I'm not even gonna explain it, just watch. This game was really against me for this video, and I don't even mean just Halo 4, I'm talking about all of MCC. Second go around, I put my Mantis in front of the Mac control so that way it would block me from any incoming debris. What a freak accent that was, like seriously. I know in the footage it might look like I purposely put myself in harm's way, but I had no idea that was coming. I literally just sidestepped and got punished for it. Here's another challenge I've already done before, so get ready. Here's another speed round. So I picked up a Magnum, picked up the target designator, blew up a particle cannon, destroyed the shield generators, blew up another particle cannon, destroyed the Lich, got inside the Forerunner structure, met the librarian, teleported back outside, and lastly blew up the gravity well. So I hate to cut this one short as well, but literally the gameplay portion of this level was only 8 minutes. How, you might be asking? Well, at the final tower, there's this gap here that you can fly through that allows you to skip the other 2 towers. The best thing about this skip is the fact that there's no glitches involved. When I got inside the tower, I ran past a lot of the Covenant and blew them up as I went along. I made quick work of the hunters by utilizing the railgun and fuel rod cannon. Got into the Banshee to skip the section here, and watched as Cortana had a meltdown.
They're mine. Now to imprison them.
What are you doing?
I can't resist his Prometheus. Like Dr. Halsey imprisoned me. Chief,
His ship's online. They're leaving.
I'm sorry. I don't know what...
And here's the final viewer submitted challenge of the special. And I will say, I appreciate that you said no shooting and not only melee, because I'll tell you right now, this level would not be possible with only melee. In hopes of it helping me in the long run, I turned on the cat skull so that way I had access to more grenades. All of the level was easy really until I reached the section where you're supposed to prevent the Covenant from letting the Didact know where the composer is. I was stuck here for half an hour and tried many different things, but no matter what I did, I had to use the Mantis to shoot down the Banshees. As much as I would like to talk about this section more, it was just a drag and a waste of my time, so I'm going to at least respect your time. Unrelated to the challenge though, I would like to say I love how Halo 4 handles Cortana and Chief's relationship.
Cortana, see if you can raise Tilson. Get me a status on the rest of the station.
I can't believe you did that.
Cortana, I need that info. Don't think about the Didact. Don't think about the composer. Only focus on finding me Tilson.
Tilson. Sandra Kay. Female, 51 years of age. Doctor of Archaeology, Pegasi Institute. Got her! Biosignature stable on 350 level. B-deck.
Thank you, Cortana.
And we're finishing off strong with a simple challenge, thankfully. All I have to do is achieve a score of at least 25,000. And to help me achieve that score, I turned on the fog, catch, and tough luck skulls. The broadsword section was annoying because of all the moving walls and sharp turns and other unfair things that this level has. But by the time I finished that portion of the mission, I already accumulated 8,000 points, so that was a nice bonus for suffering through all of that. Once I was back on foot, I went on a major Promethean killing spree. And when I got to this part of the level with all the Promethean Knights, I was making good time and score, but when I killed the high-ranking Knight, it had a backup plan. As expected, because it always seems to go this way, the second attempt was the successful one, and that little area there gave me a lot of points too. When I got to the final area with the Didact, I witnessed Cortana split herself into multiple pieces, got bodied by a knight, acquired the minimum score, and continued to go on a murdering rampage. Once the timer started going over 25 minutes, I started to lose my time bonus, so it was quite literally a race against the clock. After Cortana brought down the Didact's shield, he blew up the terminal she was in.
Cortana!
And upon looking back at this footage to write the script, I've never noticed what the mission objective here says. This game always finds a way to make me sad in the last level. Like, come on now. And one last thing. 343, please fix your game. I couldn't hear the dialogue in half the cutscene for Halo 4. Like, this just sounds awkward. Listen to this. Or how about this, for example? After defeating the Didact and saying goodbye to Cortana, let's check the after report. 31,039 points. Objective complete, and now it's time to finish out this video. I'm gonna let our special guest do the honors this time around.
Hey, a little Tristan wrapping up here. Sky Me gave me permission to do the outro of this video, so I'll do my best. But before we do that, let me get to my preferred game first. What an adventure that was. After months and months of putting all this together, Sky, me, and I are pretty happy with the end results, and we hope you are too. If anyone did end up submitting any challenges that weren't featured in this video, don't worry, your comment didn't end up going unseen. I read every comment that I get, and I have a little notebook of video ideas where I wrote all of them down. Let's show you really quick. We opted for some of the more lenient challenges so that way we would get this video out in less than 6 months. Sky Me also decided to promote me to his shameless plug guy. And his first order of business was to talk about our new channel memberships. When you become a member, you get these cool icons of my helmet by your name, member-only videos, and shoutouts at the end of our videos. It is in no way mandatory or expected of you. All of you watching and enjoying the content we make is more than enough for us. That is just another way to show further support for the channel, though. Hey, Sky Me, can I be done? That shameless plug thing is making me feel gross.
Go right ahead, little me. That did feel gross.
I'm glad you agree. Want to take it from here? My social battery is running low.
Yeah, I got it from here. You did good today, so take it easy.
Till next time?
Till next time. While it might seem silly, it makes me incredibly happy that so many of you enjoy the content that I make. Reaching 1K subscribers seemed impossible when I initially started making videos, but then we reached it. That was the first of many milestones, but nonetheless, I am very thankful to all of you. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Please do not feel pressured by that membership thing. I still don't like the fact I just included that. And I'll see you on the next one.